All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking one of Asia's most exciting markets, the Vietnam Stock Exchange. Let's jump right in.
So, if you've been keeping an eye on Asian finance, you've probably seen these letters floating around. HOSE, HNX, UpCOM. But what are they really? And what's the deal with having three different markets? That's exactly what we're going to find out. Before we get into the specifics of Vietnam, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. At its core, a stock exchange is simply a marketplace. It's the official, supervised place where companies can sell pieces of themselves, stocks, to raise money, and where investors, like you and me, can buy and sell them securely. Okay, to make sense of Vietnam's whole setup, we're going to use one really simple analogy that'll make it all click. A sports league. Seriously, picture a pyramid. At the very bottom, you've got your rookie leagues. In the middle, the minor leagues. And way up at the top, you've got the majors. Each level has different rules and a different caliber of player.
So, let's start at the very top of that pyramid. We're talking about the Major League. In Vietnam, that is HOSE, the Ho Chi Minh City Stock Exchange. This is the big one. This is the main event.
Yeah, getting listed on HOSE, that's like making it to the Premier League. This is where the true titans of Vietnamese industry play. It's where they attract the most attention and, of course, the most money from investors all over the world.
So what makes HOSE the main stage? Well, for one, it was the first, kicking off way back in 2000. It's the home turf for the country's blue-chip giants. You know, the huge, established household names. It's so important that it's the basis for the main BN index, the number everyone watches to see how the market's doing. And because the rules to get in are the absolute strictest, it naturally has the most trading action.
Okay, so if HOSE is the Major League, where do the up-and-comers get their start? Well, that brings us to the other two playgrounds, the Hanoi Stock Exchange, or HNX, and the UpCOM market.
Here's the easiest way to think about them. HNX is like the minor leagues. It's a proper, regulated exchange, but it's for established companies that are more small to medium-sized. Then you have UpCOM. This is the rookie league. It's the entry point, the starting line for public companies that aren't quite ready for the big-time rules just yet. It's kind of like the farm system in baseball.
And get this, just like in real sports, you can actually get promoted. As a company grows, gets stronger, and meets those tougher standards, it can literally graduate from the minor leagues of HNX all the way up to the major league on HOSE. I mean, that's a huge signal that they've really, truly made it.
Okay, the sports analogy is great, but what does this system actually look like with cold, hard data? Let's dig into the numbers because, believe me, they tell a really powerful story here.
First, let's just count the players, the number of companies on each exchange. And right away, we hit our first big surprise. The Rookie League, UpCOM, has the most companies listed by a long shot. We're talking around 900 of them, way more than the other two. But here's the real question. Does having more players mean you have more power?
Not even close. When we look at market capitalization, which is just the total value of all the companies put together, the whole story flips on its head. HOSE holds an incredible 94% of the entire market's value. 94%! The other two, combined, are just a tiny sliver of the pie. So yeah, while UpCOM has the most players, HOSE has all the giants.
And what does that 94% actually look like? Well, it's about 5.22 quadrillion Vietnamese dong. It's just a staggering, mind-boggling number. And that figure, right there, is why HOSE isn't just the main stage, it is the absolute heart of Vietnam's financial market.
You know, this whole system didn't just appear overnight. It was built step by step. First, the main stage, HOSE, opened the show back in 2000. Then, 5 years later, the minor league, HNX, arrived in Hanoi. And finally, in 2009, they launched UpCOM, the Rookie League, creating that all-important first step on the ladder for new companies.
So what are the actual rules of the game? What does it really take to get into each league? Well, you can see the trend plain as day right here. To get into the Rookie League, UpCOM, the bar's pretty low, just 10 billion VND in capital, and you don't even need to be profitable. But to move up to the minors, HNX, whoa, the capital requirement triples, and you can't be sitting on a pile of losses. And to make it to the majors, to HOSE, well, the bar shoots way, way up again. 120 billion in capital and a solid 2-year profit streak. The path gets steeper at every single level.
So it all comes together in this really clear journey to the top. A new company can start on UpCOM,
Get its feet wet, get some experience and visibility. As it grows, it can graduate to the more formal HNX. And then, if it becomes a true heavyweight, it can shoot for the ultimate prize, a spot in the big leagues on HOSE.
So here it is, the big takeaway. These aren't three random competing exchanges. No, it's one single, logical system. UpCOM is the nursery for new talent. HNX is the proving ground for the contenders, and HOSE is the grand stage for the champions. It's a pathway that's literally designed to fuel corporate growth at every stage of the game.
Which leaves us with one final thought. Now that you understand the different playing fields, where would you search for Vietnam's next big success story? Among the proven giants on the main stage, or would you go digging around in the rookie leagues, where tomorrow's titans are just getting warmed up? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.